Hey, how are you doing?
Hey, I'm fine. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Thank you for doing this interview with me.
Of course, no problem.
Can you tell about Bob Malmström to people that don't know your band?
I don't know how detailed history you want, but we started 2010. We're four friends. We've known each other most of our lives, so we're all friends since we were kids. And we've always been really passionate about music. So I was always thinking, because usually people start bands where they're like 15 or 20 or something like that. And I started my first band rather late. I was 27, and we're all the same age also. The other guys have been playing in different bands. I was always thinking that perhaps someday I would want a band of my own, because I've always been living and breathing music. But I was thinking that if I ever form a band, it has to be something completely new, and I want it to be with my friends. I don't want to hiring a drummer or whatever, some unknown people. It's really important that the chemistry is important.
It's like a family.
Yeah, you spend so much time together, so it's extremely important that you get along. And we've known each other forever. We've spent more time with each other than with probably anyone else. We're more with each other than any of our partners and stuff like that. So it's really, and we still have a good time. We just played our 300th show, so that's a whole. Thank you. That's a whole lot of hours, in the car or in the van or in the plane or at the rehearsal space or in the studio or at the venues. So we've released 3 albums, quite a few EPs. We played in everywhere in Europe and Brazil and China also. So that's more or less that.
Yeah. Great. Why did you choose the name Bob Malmström?
It was just a silly mistake. Like we had already been talking about founding a band with our bass player, and it was like a hangover day, a Sunday in Pori in Finland. I was holding a laptop on my lap, and I was reading an article about Bad Religion, which is a band that we all really like. And our bass player was like a bit hungover, so he was a bit slow. He was like, his eyes were like, he was trying to see what it says on the laptop, and it said Bad Religion, but he thought it said Bob Malmström. So he was asking me like, so who is Bob Malmström? So we were just like, it's that can be our band, when we start that someday. So then when we started the band a little bit later after that, I was just saying like, we already have a name, right? You remember Bob Malmström? So we stuck to it. It's a really stupid name, but then again, the good thing about the name is it looks apart. When we play with metal bands, for instance, everyone is called like Cemetery, Explosion, Zombie, Pandemic, or something like that. So it's nice to have a name that looks apart.
And people remember, because it's so different.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
Stand out.
Really. I think so too. Yeah. So we're happy with it, even though it's pretty stupid. Yeah.
So your music is punk, hardcore with info folk, and you continuously change or evolve with your music. But how do you define yourself as band?
Anyone can define it themselves. What they want to call us. It doesn't matter. We've heard all kinds of titles, so we don't mind. We played. Remember, we played in Nottingham in England, and there was somebody came up to the show like, that was really nice technical death metal, and I was like, what, really? Okay, we have influences definitely from death metal, thrash metal, even black metal, but I think like the bass, the core is hardcore punk, but then we kind of like build on that. We take influences from just like rock music and from extreme metal and stuff like that. So there's a little bit of everything. We don't label ourselves too much. Okay.
And your music and your show has a lot of sarcasm in it. Maybe for people that never saw you and don't speak Finnish, Swedish, or German. I saw you the first time in Berlin, I think 11 years ago. So.
All right, that's a while ago.
So, would you mind explain a bit about your songs and the idea behind?
Of course, there's like in Finland there is a 6% minority that speaks Swedish, and we are part of that minority. In Finland also, the Swedish-speaking minority is also like, the Finnish-speaking people usually think that the Swedes are like, rich and better people, so to speak, bättre folk. So we kind of like, because we wanted to sing in Swedish, because I really love Swedish hardcore bands like in the 90s and early 21st century. So I was thinking like, I want our songs to be in Swedish. So we wanted to use that kind of like prejudice towards Swedish-speaking Finns, and instead of like the basic punk and hardcore, you feel sorry for yourself. You're just like, oh, fuck the system, the politicians. We want to praise, the good life, and it's nothing wrong with, having money and making money and stuff like that. Of course, we overdo everything, like every single band has ever done. You always over-exaggerate and stuff like that. We do it as well. So people can take the songs and the lyrics and the speeches between the songs however they want. But we like to fuck around with people. Yeah.
I remember a show when you throw to the people fake money. Mm-hmm. Do you do this today?
Not today. We do it from time to time. We actually completely just forgot about that thing. There are some small stage antics. I'll send you a Bob Malmström 500. Don't worry.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
I will feel rich.
Yeah. We have the 500 euro bills, the Bob Malmström bills that we throw around, and also like there's some stage antics that we do every now and then. But yeah, we haven't done that in a while. But good thing that you reminded us. Yeah.
So your last EP was released last November.
Yes.
What can you tell about its genesis and lyrics?
We started it because, of course, when COVID started, that put like a pause on everything for every band, not only us, every band below. We had stuff planned that we had to cancel and postpone and stuff like that. And for a while, like, first it was just about reorganizing gigs and stuff like that, but I had a feeling from the very beginning of the lockdown that this is not going to be a short thing. I didn't expect that it would take 2 years, but still. So it took a while before we started like creating new music. There was a couple of, first it was just like reorganizing and moving gigs and stuff like that. But then I was just like, then a couple of months later we started to hang out at the rehearsal space and just we were really creative. We made a lot of songs. So we thought like, okay, this is either we could make like an album that would take a little bit longer. We have like almost an album full of music, or we could release like a really kick-ass EP. So we thinking like, yeah, let's use this, downtime for just make an EP and let's see what we do next. We still have a bunch of songs that we haven't recorded, so that's what happened. So we started being really creative, like let's say late summer 2020. So that's when the songs started pouring in. We went quite often to the rehearsal space and demoed and stuff like that. A big strength with the band is that we have a lot of ideas. Everyone provides ideas. There's not like one guy who writes everything or stuff like that, or not even two. Everyone has ideas all the time, so that's a really good strength, I would say. And the second,
teamwork.
Absolutely. And then the EP is Sekomisatan EP is like the fruit of that creative process that started 2020. Yeah.
I also like the album cover. It's really nice. Who is the artist behind it?
It's our friend Spider. He plays drums in Ratface, in Goatburner. He's also the second member of Pikakassa cult band. He's an extremely talented guy. You should follow him on Instagram. Spider Blasts. He's a really talented guy. He can do anything he puts his mind on. And we asked him. He's a good friend of ours. So we were asking like, hey, we had like this sort of idea. So we painted it like just like. So yeah. I really like it. I want it framed on my wall.
Yeah, it's stand out.
Yeah.
Compared also the previous album, Hippies cover. This one is different.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I really like it.
So you played a lot of show. So far, thinking about all the show you played, which one is the best or the one that you remember in particular?
There's so many. I mean, there's so many, and for different reasons. Like, of course, now we're gonna play in Tuska again this summer, and that is a huge thing for us. We all go always to Tuska, so it's like home. But we have played there once, but that's 10 years ago. So that was a really memorable gig to be able to play there. And now we have an even better slot, so we're looking forward to it even more. And we are better also than we were, 10 years ago. So that is definitely one, because there's not one, there's like so many. I mean, the tours in China were really interesting for different reasons. The gigs were good, but you never knew what happened the next day. So that was, and I in particular, it's one of my definite absolute top 3 gigs. We played in a city called Xining, and usually the venues were quite big, way too big for us, way bigger than we're used to playing, like really big venues. So, and they were good, they were still, quite good amount of people. But once we play like in a small club, I like to go to watch gigs at small venues. I also like playing the small venues. Of course, it's really nice to play in front of a big crowd and big. That's of course nice as well. But I prefer the small one, the really intimate ones, like this one here tonight in Pori. So we played in a place called Xining, and then it was like finally like, okay, this is our place. It was packed. It was crazy because usually there weren't like that kind of like a metal crowd.
Yeah.
They were just like they were really like headbanging and listening. But this had like the hardcore people, so it was crazy and everything about that whole day. Like we had a really fun after party with a lot of laughs at the hotel. It was just perfect. So that's definitely one of my favorites.
How different are the audience compared to Finland, for example?
In China or?
In China, Germany, Sweden, or whenever you...
There's not really anything that typical, like when it comes to the country. If I would have to mention like one country that is, in my mind, perhaps the most crazy and active, I would say Poland. Well, Poland shows have always been good, and the crowd is amazing there. But we had good gigs and less good gigs everywhere in the world. So I haven't really seen anything that typical for a certain country.
Do you have a favorite song to play live?
We all have a bunch of favorites. Actually, we're going to do just a handful of gigs this spring. This one tonight, and then a couple in April, and then we're focusing on Tuska, which we try to make like the ultimate Bob Malmström gig. But actually we're playing tonight, one of my old favorites that we haven't played for a couple of years. It used to be like standard in our set, but then we got some new songs, and then we left this one out at some point to like take a break. Now we have it back. We're playing it tonight for the first time in years, like even before COVID. It's called KFSF. It's from our second album. That's like top 2 Malmström songs for me at least. So I'm really happy to get to play that. About music, what are your main influences? As your favorite bands, for example? There's once again like so many. Like the influences, there's like I would say my if I'll start off with like perhaps some of my main influences as like a singer for all 3. I have a top 3 and all for like different reasons. I like Tompa Lindberg, who sings like his most famous band is probably At the Gates, but he also, my favorite band with him is Disfear. We went to play to Göteborg and he was there. He came to watch the show. That was really an honor, and he liked the band, and so I like that he screams his lungs out, but he still like smiles, and he's such a polite guy. I think I have a little bit of that as well. Then I like Erik Danielsson from Watain, the black metal band. He's so passionate. I mean, I don't share the same beliefs. I'm not a Satanist or anything, but he's got the fire in his eyes, that you can't fake. So I really that's also his influencer. And then just George Corpsegrinder Fisher from Cannibal Corpse. He just stands there like a mountain and headbangs like hell and screams like, and his vocals get get better and better. He's an old man, but he gets better and better every year.
Yeah.
So those are like my favorites. Favorite bands, there's a million. Yeah.
Of course,
Yeah.
it's really hard question just to pick few, but you were also in Vainkuolema.
Yes, I was.
I'm asking you, but I know that you will tell me to ask someone else from the guys. Is coming the second season? Anytime?
Actually, at some point we really talked about it, that we should really do it. I think now it's not a priority. I'm not saying it will never happen. Who knows?
Okay. I hope that it's going to happen because it was so fun.
It was a silly idea among friends that all of a sudden, like, we just wanted to make it as we filmed everything in like one day. It was just like a fun project among friends that we just wanted, like, let's put it like on the band's, social media pages and stuff like that, and have some fun with it. Then we released the trailer, then got like 100,000 views in one day. And we were just like, oops, we were calling each other that day. We were scheduled for a bunch of interviews, and we were just like, should we have made it a bit better? Because it was like there was zero budget. We were just like having fun. It was not, nobody took it serious. Like, we didn't take it serious. So it was good, at least for like the small bands like us, for instance. It was good. We got a lot of new fans through that. We'll see. We were actually talking about it quite actively like a year after the first one, but let's see.
Let's hope.
Yeah.
I hope at least.
Let's see.
I think many more are hoping.
Yeah.
And what's the plan for Bob Malmström in the future?
Well, now, as I said, the summer and Tuska, that's like the main event. We have a full focus there, and that also gave us a lot of new energy and a lot of new ideas. We've been like more creative than ever after we like locked in the Tuska gig, which we already found out about it, early January. So we've been like extremely motivated since that. It was supposed to be just like a quite lazy spring. We're planning on we were supposed to have more shows, but the band that we were supposed to play with, their one member got seriously ill, so he's okay now, but they had to cancel all those plans, so we kind of canceled our with them as well. And then, we were supposed to like record one song during this spring, just for like a bonus, one song to release at some point. But after the Tuska announcement, Tuska news, we have been like extremely motivated. We have like such a huge drive. I can't tell you still too much, but we're gonna go to the studio in April to record a couple of songs. We're also going to make a music video during the spring that will be out before summer, because like we want to use the Tuska leverage. This video is going to be extremely funny and extremely like it's a really unique thing. That's all I can say. That it's a really, we're going to shoot a video in a really iconic place, and you'll find out soon. And of course we have Tuska, and then we have some other quite big gigs that haven't been announced and haven't been clinched, so I can't say anything about them yet. But we have like a couple of really good, interesting gigs coming up later, some a lot later, and we have some plans for the autumn to play possibly with a couple of really big Finnish bands. But yeah, they're still in the works, so even I don't know about that. But there's a lot of really fun plans, a lot of things to look forward to.
So we have to stay tuned to your Facebook.
Please do, yeah, Facebook, Instagram, and we'll let people know as soon as we have something to let people know about. But yeah, the Tuska is like our main goal and the main focus, and we were going to make that show like the ultimate Bob Malmström show. For
me, it's going to be the first Tuska this year.
Oh, good.
And when I saw your name, I was like, what? Great! I was happy.
Yeah, and we have it's not been announced yet, so I can't say it, but it's announced that we're playing on Saturday. We're going to play an amazing slot. Like, I can honestly say, like, if they would have asked me to pick any slot, I would have picked this. And so it's going to be, be early, because I think it's going to be a quite busy one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Okay, we have done with this interview. Thank you so much for your time.
Grazie.
Would you like to say something to your fans and our viewers?
Just thank you for showing up. Thank you. We don't take anything for granted. So every single message, every single idea, every single people that buy some merch and that have some sort of comments and listen to us, we don't take anything for granted. So we really appreciate it, and good things coming up.